What country are you attending from? You're welcome. Okay, okay, okay. Welcome, welcome. Um let's give them from now to 10:17. Then we can proceed. Please just hang on. From now to 10:17, we continue. Let's give the late comers a little time to prepare. So once it's 10:17, I'll be sharing my screen. So we'll just go through what we have today. You're all welcome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Please, if you are still here, I would want you to send a love emoji, a love sticker. Let's be aware of people who are available. Okay, good morning. This morning class, we are going to be very fast and brief. We won't be talking much. Prior to our last class, I noticed that some of us didn't really get enough understanding on what was treated, and I apologize for that because I noticed I took things very fast, and it was actually designed for beginners, but it seems I did not acknowledge beginners as it should. So please, guys, I really send my apologies, and please give me a minute. Let me answer this call from someone. Okay, I really apologize. So let me share my screen, please. Um, can we all see my screen? Please let's indicate if you can see my screen or not, please. Hello, can anyone see my screen? Hello, can anyone see my screen? Good morning. Okay. Now let's proceed. This morning we'll be treating on just two things. One, which is JavaScript data types, and I will be showing you on how to make. I know for some of you, this is your first time attending the class. You were not available on our last class, and take you back to what we discussed on the last class. The last class was basically um, we had discussion, yeah, basically Node.js and how to create our first Node application, which is Node Express application. So if people don't get it confused when we say Node Express, which you actually use to simplify, a skeleton to just use to make it very easy when creating applications. We'll come back, we'll get to that, and I will explain further on that, but that won't be on this class. So this class is actually designed to explain JavaScript data types. JavaScript data types actually data types. Data types can it's actually those values you actually pass, types of values you can actually pass in JavaScript, and there are ample number of data types which you can pass in JavaScript, which we'll be discussing on today. We have numbers, we have strings, we have boolean, we have undefined, we have null, and there are also different types. But let me take you on the note. They say JavaScript supports primitive data types, which are most basic building blocks for representing and manipulating data. So, what this is actually saying, hope we are all following. I enjoy my class when it's actually interactive. So indicate if you are following, please. Can you say something on the chat? Okay. So JavaScript data types are basically those values you can actually pass in JavaScript. So for let's go with, they say there's primitive data types and different data types, which we have them as number, string, boolean, undefined, and null. So I'll be taking you on this first one, which is number. Number represents numeric values, both integers and floating point numbers. So basically, this, we all know numbers now. Strings also represent, in a, it's a string represents sequence of characters enclosed in single or double quotes. These are text values. Boolean represents a logic value indicating true or false. That is when you have a value which is just true or false. That is what boolean is. And undefined represents a variable that has been declared but not assigned a value. Example, let's undefined var. And null represents intentional absence of a value. Example, let null value equal to null. So data data types dot js. Yeah, I hope we are all following. So I would love to show you people practical examples of how we use these data types and how they actually work in JavaScript. So first of all, let us first of all declare a data type which is number. So we let's declare a data type which is number. This is how we declare a data type which is number. You use the let keyword, then call this number, which is equal to, hope you can see my screen. Let number, which is equal to 10. It's as simple as that. So this way, okay. So this is how we declare a data type number. Data type number. And let's do another one. Let's number 2. You cannot declare, you can see I'm getting, reason why I'm getting this error is because you cannot have the same variable in a file. You can't have this scenario where you can either have it as a different name. So let me add this one to the 2, then we call this one 20, right? Then if you want to still add more, you can do let's number 3 be equal to 30. So this is just how we declare um, number data types in JavaScript. So let's do some arithmetic functions so you'd understand how this works. Let's say we do a function. In our last class, I did not explain how we actually write functions, but let's just do a simple arithmetic function here. Let's call this one calculate. You can do const. This is how you write your function. Hello, can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, please indicate. This class is important and it's going to be brief, so I want us to all follow. Const add numbers. Okay. You do like this. Function. Function. So in JavaScript, right? This is how we write. In JavaScript, this is how we write a simple function. In JavaScript, this is just basically how we write functions in JavaScript. So in this situation, we want to pass a function that adds two numbers. So let's do this as you pass your number, right? Then you pass number 2 again, number 2. And we come here, we do a console, I hope we by now some of us here should be aware of what console log is. If you do a console log number plus another number plus another number 2, which is number 2, which you see. I hope you're all following. So if you come here and call this function add numbers, please bear with me, my system is a bit slow, so I just want to show you people how we can actually use the number variable, example of how we can use it. So if I do node Nodejs. not a let's pass, let me see. Node data types. So hope we can all see how this works. Let me um, break it down for you. So we have assigned number one, this particular number here, to be 10, right? Which is a number. We have assigned this number to a value of 10 and number two to a value of 20. Then we have number two also to a value of 30. So in a case where you want to do an add function, we'll be using our console to actually return data. You can see we have our add numbers, then we are passing the values of the numbers which we want to add inside this circle bracket, or what they call it. Then in our curly brackets, we now pass the expression that is what we will actually want to do, which we did this number one, yes, plus number two. Then if you come to um after you have finished creating your function in JavaScript, the next thing you do is to call out that function, and you call out the function with the variables which you are supposed to pass, which is just exactly what we have here. Let's say we want to add um we want to do a subtraction value, which is 20. Yeah, let's say 30 minus that's number one, number three minus 30. Here you come, here you call this function. You can actually pass whatever value you want to pass here. You can actually pass whatever value you want to pass here, right? You can call this a. I'm just giving an example, and call this a and b, right? a minus b. So we want to minus 30. I want to minus this one from this particular one. So what we do is we pass number 3 minus 1. So if we come here and call our node, how you actually execute, you actually run your node application after you actually run your node application on the server. Is you come to your terminal and type node, then the file name, data type types.js, and we have our value, which is 20. um, okay, someone is complaining about the network. Hope you can hear me and hope you can see my screen. So this is just a basic example of how we actually use number data types. So in number data types, you just assign a variable. You can assign it to any name. You can say whatever name that person is. You can assign it to any name. You can assign it to any name, and add number to it. The number can be any number, floating number, or so long as it's a number digit. That's what a number data type fast in a way, but we will get there together. So now let's move to the next one, which is let's move to the next one, which is string. String data type. String data data type. So string data type actually represents text values, those values that are text text oriented. Your name, the way you spell your name, basically the way you spell nouns and all that. So an example of a string value is, let's say, let's name be equal to, which name are we going to write? Drop. Okay. When writing a string, you are compulsorily going to use column, either not column, yeah, this apostrophe, in this, or you use this. So we'll be making use of this one, and we call drop. So this is just the basic this is just the basic way you actually write your string in JavaScript. You call the name, you use a variable name, and call out the name. Let's console log this and see. Console.log, console.log name. So we can the way we actually um, declare a string is by putting double quotes at the top, or a single quote, whichever one would work. So let's console log this. Let me comment these other ones out. Why is this duplicated? So let's we actually use names now. I don't know why the system is slow. So this is how we actually let's run this particular one and see how it comes out. Node data types dot js. Now we can see that we can actually we can actually print and console log this on. We can actually console log this particular variable on our terminal. So this is just basically what a string data type is. Now let's move forward to the next data type, which is boolean. What boolean actually entails is boolean actually has two values to do it, which is either true or false. You understand? So most cases, let's say you are trying to most cases where you actually use boolean is when you want to identify something, you understand, or you want to query some query an application. Let's say is if you are not the actual user, then it is false. Then if you are the real user, it is true. So just like our normal implementation in real life scenario, if it's not true, it is false in any way. So that is just how boolean operates. So let's give a simple example using boolean. Let's use our let value. It's it is valid is equal to true is valid. This is just a simple way of using boolean. A very simple way of using boolean. So if I do a console console.log console.log is valid, and I come to my node data types.js, I would have a true value. Hope you can all see my screen. Yeah, you can use that. Thank you, Drop. Hope you can all see my screen. So this is just how it works. Let's say you change it back to false. This is a boolean value, and you come back here and you do your um, node data types.js, and boom, you have your false. So these are just the basic examples you can have when using these data types. Data types. So let's move to, I think, the last undefined. Now, when they say a value is undefined, represents a value that has been declared but not assigned. For example, now um, you declare a value. You declare a value like this. Okay. For example, you declare a value. Let's declare a value, an undefined value, so you understand what it means. Let's do undefined data types. Let's do a let's spread tech Africa. Now this is actually this is actually called, this is actually defined, right? But it was not assigned a value. Let's try our console log, console dot log, console.log spread Africa, Control C, console.log spread Africa. You do your node um, data types. In our next class, I would show you how to actually bytecode. There's a package, an npm package, which you can use to make running your application on the server very fast. They call it node. So in our next class, I would show you how to implement it, or how to actually use it on our system. Um, Please bear with me. My system is kind of slow. Hope you are following. And, okay, sorry, I have not. Okay, can you all see my screen? You can see this is actually calling undefined, because this value, this particular variable here has not been assigned a value. Let's assign a value to it and see. Let's call it let's give it a string value of we are getting there. Let me comment this out. So if I should call this again, node data types .js, we can see that the initial undefined has been transformed to this particular value here. So this is just what undefined actually represents. So in a situation where you encounter problem, that's in future, where maybe you come across an issue which returns an undefined, you should know that this you are having a problem which um which is associated with a variable not having a value. So our next data type is null, a null data type, which represents which represent the intentional absence of any value. Example, let's value be none. So basically, what null does is the value is actually assigned, but it is absent. It is a null value. Null actually means absent. Just like there is nothing assigned to it, it is just there. It's a null value. Let me see if JavaScript will actually call this um, null data, null data type. Let's say we call let's whose name would I use now? Let's still here. You can see let's drop let's drop be equal to, you have to assign null. This is just how null operates. Most especially when you're working with database value, when you're working on a database, you are likely to get issues related to this null value, but we'll get there with time. So null actually represents a value which is absent. So that is that for data types. I've shown you how we can actually let me uncomment these things out because we'll be pushing to we'll be using GitHub today. We'll be using GitHub today, and we'll be making some push to GitHub. Okay. So this is just basically what data types actually entails. And I think I gave an example of how to actually write function here. There are different ways which you can actually write down functions. I would, on the notes, today's lecture notes, I'm going to give a very good illustration and yeah, show you people how you can actually use functions. And JavaScript is basically functions. You write functions, functions do this for you, this function does that, and yeah, with great understanding of how you can write your functions, you would do a lot writing your codes better. So the next phase of this class is how to use GitHub. Why I suggest we go into GitHub now, which I think it's something we can actually do later on. But the reason why I think it's important we get familiarized with GitHub is because it's a platform where we can actually collaborate together on this program. It will be easier for me to share this project to you, like this work file, and you go there, copy them, and make use of them and use them as reference. Like our last class, we did this how to install a simple express application, and I doubt if some of us have this project. So with GitHub you can have this exact file, you can modify it, change it, do whatever you want to do with it, improve on it. And it's important because as a developer, GitHub is your go-to place. It's more than just holding your project files. It's a place where you can outsource help, a place where you get to, get great understanding on how most of the software engineering yeah, programs work. It's it is your place to go. So the note I have here for there are different types of, yeah, I'm going to drop this as a note for you people. That's the array type, the objects, and yeah, I'm going to make a very clear note on it. Should I look into this for now? Support complex types, which is array. Okay, let me just give you a little representation of how JavaScript object works. Yeah, this is also a JavaScript data type. Before we go into GitHub, hope we are following in a way. Okay, so using JavaScript objects, hmm, JavaScript objects. So we have object actually what it does is an object can actually take multiple values. Let's say we want to define somebody, we want to define a person. Let's say person A, person one. We want to define person one. Person one's name is John. We also his age is 30. Let's add another variable here, which is occupation. This person's occupation can be, let's say this person is a student. This is just okay. You this is supposed to be a string. This is supposed to be a string. I know most of us here are not getting this on a clearer level. Let me break it for you to understand clearly. I know this is a clearer example. So person one now, we have assigned this whole variable to person one, which person one's name is John. His age is 30, and person one is a student. Person one shouldn't be a student at 30, please. Let, okay, let's bring it down to 15. So if you come here and we run our console.log again, Control C, we run our console.log, you are going to see, okay, I would allow everything to console log. So node data types JS. You can see everything we have actually done this morning. But this particular one which we just did now, this object, we can see we have called this person John, age 15, and occupation student. So basically, this is just how JavaScript we write objects in JavaScript. There's also array. There's an array type. All these are primitive. Let's call this array. And we use this block bracket in actually calling arrays. We call 2, we call 3, let's call this 4, and yeah, 8, like that. So if you console log array, this is how we write array in JavaScript. There are a lot of methods that are associated to arrays and objects, but we will not be talking on that in this class. I think I'm going to be dropping a note for that. We have node data types.js, and boom. And we can see we have called our arrays. So there are a lot of functions that you can actually do, there are a lot of methods that are associated to how we use these arrays. You can split, you can actually push more values to these arrays, you can do a lot of things. But in this class, we won't be discussing on that. I just want to let you guys get familiar with the different data types, which is we have string value, and you can see how we actually used our strings here, how we called our string. I told you we can actually use a single quote or a double quote. This is a typical example. And you can see how we use our number data type. You can see how we use our null data type and undefined, like that. So, without wasting much of our time, I would love us to go deep into GitHub. Okay, like I have explained, GitHub is a place we developers, both front end, back end, data, both product managers, everyone in tech. If you don't use GitHub like an everyday thing, you are still definitely going to do certain things, maybe little or yeah, little to some extent on GitHub. So I'll be going through this to GitHub simplify collaboration in software development. Just like I told you guys now, with GitHub, it is easy for us to actually have our projects together. And from what we have, is a GitHub is a popular platform for hosting and managing software projects using Git, a distributed version control system. It is often a suite for features that streamline the development process, making it easier for teams to work together on projects of any size. Here is a brief overview of how GitHub works. So, first of all, GitHub, we create repositories in GitHub. These repositories are actually projects, like your file now. The file you have is a GitHub. When you create a folder or a project file on GitHub, it is called repository. So don't get it too deep. It's not that deep. So let's say, okay, then we should go through this together. Repository projects on GitHub are organized into repositories or repos for short. A repository is a collection of files and folders that make up a project. Each repository has its own URL and can either be public, visible to everyone, or private. Okay, then its second feature again is version control. Version control, which oh, my screen is not clear. Hope it's not network issue. Can you see it now? Is it clear now? Um, Hello, Mary Emmanuel. Can you see my screen? Okay. So back to this, the version control. It's a Git, the underlying version control system tracks changes to files within a repository. Developers can make changes to files, create new branches to work on features, or fixes independently and merge changes back into the main branch when ready. So basically, what this does is, let's say we create this particular folder. When you launch this folder to GitHub, and another person comes in and does a change on this particular folder, you may not have that particular person's project, but GitHub does. So GitHub automatically has a way which it actually you can actually control. Yeah, it actually versions your project. When you pull that person's project to yours, you would have the same version as that person's own. So that is just basically what it does. So the next one is the same thing as collaboration. The next feature I think here is collaboration. GitHub provides features that facilitate collaboration among team members. Developers can clone repository to their local machines, make changes, and push those changes back to the remote repository. GitHub also supports pull requests, which allows developers to propose changes, review each other's code, and make changes into the main branch. So this is not really a big thing. It's just like what we are about to do in a minute. Yeah, in some moments time, I will show you how we push to GitHub. do other things on GitHub. It's just an environment where developers collaborate together, both back end, front end. You have a project you're working on. We can actually all work on that project together remotely. That is why we have GitHub. Yeah, all these ones are just the same thing and complex things for you to actually understand as a beginner. Okay, now let me go through this example together with you. Let's say a team of developer is working on a web application. They create a repository of a project where they store all the code, documentation, and related files. Each developer clones the repository to their local machine, make changes, and push those changes back to to the remote repository. As the project progresses, developers create branches to work on different features or fixes. They use pull requests to propose changes, review each other's code, and discuss any necessary modifications. Once a pull request is approved, the changes are merged into the main branch and the circle continues. Throughout the development process, the team uses GitHub issue tracking systems to report bugs, track features requests, and assign tasks to team members. They also utilize project boards to visualize their workflow and milestones to track progress towards their goals. So I think GitHub is one of the best things that has happened to developers, and we're always grateful for the team who actually created GitHub. So overall, GitHub provides a centralized platform for collaboration, version control, and project management, making it an essential tool for modern software development teams. So what we are actually saying is GitHub is just like a very big workstation where us collaborate together, make work easy and faster for them. Instead of meeting each other and say, okay, let me help you write your code for you, then go back to my destination, be on our different parts of this world and do things together in GitHub. So let's go to how GitHub actually works. Hope we are all following. Ah, okay. I think who else is having this same issue? I think this should be next. If I'm not mistaken. Okay. So um let's let me take you. We have something here already. I am sorry I did not make out time to write something on how to actually um use GitHub command, but I think we can go through that together. As a simple um, basic GitHub commands. Okay, yeah, we are going to be using this. Hope you cannot see my screen. Hope you cannot see my screen. Chike cannot see my screen. Hope you can. Okay. So we are going to use this particular simply learn to just take you through on how we can push this project to GitHub and have it on GitHub. So what we do is from this article here, they say GitHub and Git commands working with local repositories. First of all, let me show you what GitHub homepage looks like. This is just a simple, this is GitHub. If you check your github.com, this is what a simple GitHub homepage looks like. So I encourage you all to sign in. Okay, sign up with GitHub. If you haven't done that, you should hasten to do that. Not in this current section. Maybe after the section you can do that. Then we have our first command, which is git init. The command git init is used to create an empty Git repository. For example, now we have our project here. This is our project. This is our project, and this our project has an empty Git repository. That is, Git has not been initialized on this particular project. This project is just a simple Node.js project, but there is no Git. But in order for you to actually use Git, your project is supposed to be embedded or initialized with GitHub. So the way to actually do this is we use the command. Let me copy it so we can all see it together. Git init. But I will tell you, before you actually run git init on your project, that's on your working file, you are supposed to have Git installed in your device, either on your Mac or your Windows or Linux or whichever operating system you're making use of. You are supposed to have Git installed. I am going to include that on, I'm going to include a source on that. I think I did. Yeah, I did. I have done that on the last class. Check the last note we had, our last class notes. There is an example where you can install Git and some basic commands on how to use Git. So let's go on with initializing this project with Git. So I've done this. Now we have Git installed. How you know you have Git installed is you you have master. We are on a master branch. So first thing that happens is when you create a Git repository, you are assigned to a branch. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. I was too fast and I did not use git ignore. So for for some reason for some reason it is important to know that when you're operating with your Git, right, you are not supposed to have all your projects, all your files being published in Git. For example, your security, when you have security security files where maybe your project, especially as a backend developer, you're going to be having things to do with as a backend developer, you're going to be having things to do with password. You can encrypt your password. You don't want your password to be on the public repository. Some files too, some important files. We'll get to that. So, in order to avoid that, we use a file, a Git file. We call it git ignore. How do we even use that? Git ignore. I think we do a dot git. Hmm. Yeah, this is how we actually do that. We use a file called .gitignore, and in this file, what we now do is we include all those we include all those we include all those files that we don't want to publish to the GitHub. So what this is we call this particular package.json is our um, node node file, and we don't want to take all this particular file to GitHub. So we include package dot json. I think we should also include um, so this is just a simple way. We can see that after doing this, these two have been locked. These two have been these two have changed color because they are no longer part of the files which is supposed to be published to Git. I hope we are all following. I know I'm a bit fast, but okay. Yeah, I think it was network. So this is just basically what we do before we push to Git. So then our next command is git add. What this does is add command is used after checking the status of the files to add those files to the staging area. So let's say you make changes, right? We have made changes. How you actually check your GitHub status or your Git status is you use the command git. Hope you can all see my screen. Let me make it a bit bigger on these two samples. Git git status, and we can see all the files that we we just added, and the files we actually made changes to. Even from the git command, you can see use git to add file. So what we do is in order for us to just add the files quickly, we do git add, yeah, which is this command here. Sorry for not coming back to this. Before running the command git add, it's used to add a new file or modify files. Okay, you just use your git add. Okay, git add, you can actually call the file name which you want to add app.js in this form. Now we have added app.js. You can see it has changed from you, which is on staging, to a staging area. So in order to add every file which is still on staging area, you do it like this: git add, then you use dot. Okay, yeah, someone is on the group saying they have created their own GitHub account. Unique Ego, I am so proud of you. Then if you use this git add, then dot, please excuse me. You What this does is it actually adds all the files together, the files which are on this on staging area. If we do this, wow. Hmm. Reason why we have this is because we actually added the package, and it's actually taking too long, and I would have to. This is a mistake. Please don't. I don't encourage you to do this. Before you actually push to Git or you Git add, the first thing you should do, the first thing you should do first is to include your Git ignore. So you don't ignore it. You don't add this package.json files. These things are necessary on the GitHub GitHub project. We can actually call them, use our npm initialize whenever you clone a repository that is Node.js, and you get all these package files inside your project again without doing it manually or without any stress. So we have done this. Then let's use our git status again. Git status. Okay. We have done the git status. That with this. So let's do our git commit. The next command we are going to be using is the git commit. You can see how it goes sequentially. You git initialize to initialize a git into your Node.js project. Then git add to add that on your to add the files which you have worked on. Then the next one is you git commit. The git commit now is for you to what it does is the commit command makes sure that the changes are saved to the local repository. So how we actually give me a minute, let me check something. Git, git ignore sample. I just want to make a little inquiry. This is GitHub. This is GitHub. I'm just trying to. Okay. So I think I should be having this particular. I should be having a forward slash in front of it. I think that one too should be able to do it. Well, preferably this way. Then git status. Now if you can remember, I made some changes here. I made some changes here. So let me do that again. Git add, then git status. Then I'll do my git commit new commit. Please hope I'm not too okay. Now that we have done, you can see from our screen everything has cleared. We now have a clear screen just like when we started. Now our project is set to be published to the remote repository. And how this can be done is this can be done in two ways. It can be done from a local repository or can be done from the remote repository. But let's do it in a simple way, just like let's do it in a simple way so you get a very good understanding of how it works. So I'll take you to my GitHub profile. This is my GitHub profile. If you have created your GitHub, I encourage you to follow me on my GitHub profile because time to time I do solve some issues on GitHub, and yeah, we should just get acquainted with ourselves. So this is my GitHub profile. When you create your profile, this is what your home screen should look like when you're in your page. So your profile, from your profile, this is my GitHub profile. So what you do is you come to your top, yeah, top right. Can we all see the screen? This is important. We should not miss this part. Please indicate if we are following, please. Hope you are following. So um when you want to make use of your GitHub, hello, hope you are following. I need to be sure we are following. Okay, okay, okay. That's really good. That's really good. So on the top right, you can see new repository. Just like if you remember, I said GitHub is all about you creating repository and files. Your files are called repository. So now let's create a new repository, and this is how it's being done. You create a new repository. Now um we call this repository spread. I love to use lowercase spread tech Africa. Then we use an underscore and say back end. Yeah, spread tech Africa back end is available. You can see GitHub is already suggesting this for us. I am going to make this a public repository. I'll write a simple description. This is for the genius. How do they spell genius? Genius back end. All these things are not really necessary, but to make it look pretty, you can actually bypass the description. And this is for the juniors back end. Um, spread tech Africa developers. Okay, this is simple. This is simple at least. Then you come here and we'll be ignoring this part. And this is original. Okay, thank you, Mary. Then we'll come to this part. Hope my screen is not that small. After we have finished giving our project name, repository a name, a description, you can see it's optional. We declare this public. Boom, we have created our repository. Now this is the screen it takes you to, but this is how it actually works. Now we are about to create a remote repository. If you all can remember, we initially we were doing all these things just on my computer here. We don't have it. No one else has this particular project. So it is on my computer. So in order for us to have this thing on the live remote repository, which is this one on GitHub, we have to connect. We have to do a little we have to write just a little command. So initially, if you can remember, this was how we started. We git initialize, we did a git add, and we did a git commit. Now we did a git we haven't created a branch yet, but this is not a problem. So, but this is what I want you to understand. The command to actually create a git remote is we use git remote add, then we use the the link. GitHub is actually going to provide the link for you, but let me do this so you can see. Remember, we already have Git installed on our repository. We have Git running on our device, on our project. So if I should add this, please, I'm sorry. I think there is a mistake somewhere. If I should do this, if I should do this, remember this is the link to the remote repository, and this is the command git remote add origin. If we come here, where is that? You see git remote working with a remote repository. The git remote command is used to create, view, and delete connections to other repositories. The connections here are not like the direct links into our other repository, but as bookmarks that serve as convenient names to be used as reference. So you can see how we actually add our git remote add origin, which we did here. Git remote add origin, then the repository link. So let's go ahead and hit enter. Boom. Now we have our git remote. To check git remote, to check if you have your git remote branch, you just use the git command git remote, and you can see our git remote branch name is called origin. So now that we have all this set up, right, we want to we want to be able to push this repository to git remote so that you can have it and every other person too can make use of it. So what we do is we do our git status again, git status, and you see that there's nothing to commit. We have a working branch. What we come here is we do git push origin. We haven't given this branch, that's the main branch a name. So what I initially do is I just do git push origin main, which I assume is supposed to be the remote repository name. You click on this. Okay. Git, sorry for the git push origin master. Yeah. And when you see this, you smile because we have actually pushed to the remote repository. So when you come to your project, let's refresh this and see. Boom, we have our project. Like I said, this is not supposed to happen. This package.json is not supposed to be part of our git file, but we can see we have that project. This is the project we did last week exactly, and this is the one we have done this yes today. So if another developer comes in now and says he wants this project, what they do is they come here, they come here, take this project code, that's the link, they copy this link, come to their file project and use a git clone. You can There's a command called git clone. What this command does is thank God it's here. You see git clone. The git clone command is used to create a local working copy of an existing remote. So when you git clone this repository, you have this same exact file, this same project that we are actually using. So that is how we collaborate using GitHub. Um, it's as simple as that. There will be more notes on this, but for now, I think you should be familiar with this. This is how we actually use GitHub, and I don't know if someone is not clear somewhere, so we can just go through this again. Hello, um, do we have confusion on this? Are we sleeping? Yeah, hello, Mary, Drap, my my guy. You said you were from. That's not my guy. Perplex, Zambia. Um, are we still here? Please, if you're with me, please indicate. Let me know that we are making progress in this bootcamp. Hello. Okay, Esnat, you have a question, I think. Okay. Yes, at the end where you are saying commit. Okay. Um. Yeah. There's nothing really. Shit. Okay. You guys, forgive me. I skipped. I was supposed to. This is not even what I'm supposed to. This is what I'm supposed to include. Node modules. Uh, please pardon my ignorance. I'm not supposed to include. This is what I'm supposed to include. The node modules. Node module. Okay, I'm supposed to take this one out. I'm making a new modification. I'm making a new change. I'm making a new push so you can all see. I do a git add. Watch me as I go. I do a git status. Okay. I do a git commit, git add, git commit, latest change. Let me call this latest change. Then I do git status again. Then I do a git push origin, git push origin master. I pray there's no conflict. Okay. So this node module is not supposed to be here. I made a mistake, but I'm going to make adjustments. Going to make adjustments on this. Yeah, so I think we are done with today's class, except someone has question. I would love to take your questions now. So, is there anyone with question? Oh, it seems you know. Yes, you know. You need to write a command to remove. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Perplex. How do I even remove? How do I get to remove Do you know the command to remove the node module? Yeah, I think I do, but I won't be spending much time on that now. Does anyone have any question? Hello, please. Does anyone have any question? Okay, okay. Thank you so much. I assume that we are all clear. And I really appreciate you guys who have stayed from the beginning of this class to the end. I am much grateful. And please, like I used to say, if you feel confused anywhere, do not hesitate to reach out. There are sometimes like this little mistake I made now. There are sometimes that we, especially for me, I can't process some of these things immediately. But if you reach out to me afterwards, I will definitely. Okay, yes, you can actually use var to declare a variable. You can actually use, but reasons why. Okay, the reasons why I actually used this is when you want to make changes, you can declare a in the new modern JavaScript. I think making use of let gives you more freedom to redeclare more. You can actually call this later on and just say array. um you see, you call this array 2, 4, 6, 7, and you do your node data types.js, and okay, it didn't work that way to true form. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would perplex, please. I would get to you back on this particular answer. But using let, I know, gives you more freedom to redeclare variables, just like how I used it here. But I doubt why it's not coming out. Um. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. I did not assign this. My bad. My bad. Node types. You can see one example is this can actually be redeclared. You can redeclare this using the let value. So, and it's one of the new implementations on the new modern JavaScript, which is ES 6 features. So I think using let over var is better for me particularly. So that's just it. Hope you hope you are clear in a way. Okay. Okay. Mary, I think please can you message me directly, then I would go through this with you. Right now I doubt if we can discuss about this because of our time. We are almost, yeah, we should be done by 1:30, and this is already 1:49. We've spent like 1 hour for something minutes. Mary, can you hear me? I'm going to help you through this, but not in this particular section. Hope I'm clear. Just drop this same message on the group, then I'll follow it up. I'm perplexed. Have I been able to answer your question? Hello, are you guys with me? Okay. This is the end of our section. Okay, please, do do message, do drop your questions on the group. I will answer them from there. Thank you all. God bless you for coming, and I really appreciate you. Bye.